Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. XStitch, your ever-loving kingpin of contemporary embroidery, and I am back with another video. Hooray! This time it's a book review. Feminist Cross Stitch. Let's get our feminist on. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's lovely to see you on the old YouTubes again for my first video of 2019. And yeah, I just thought I'd come straight out with a book review of a new book that's just hitting the shelves now. Feminist Cross Stitch by Stephanie Rohr, aka Steph XStitch. It's a good one. Just cut to the chase, it's a good one, yeah? I mean, there's been quite a prevalence lately of feminist-inspired cross-stitch books. I can think of at least another two off the top of my head. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but clearly a trend has been observed and is now being executed. I don't have a problem with it. I think that the combination of using the overtly feminized craft that is cross-stitch as a tool for commentary on the patriarchally dominated society that encapsulates us is no bad thing. By standing in the face of these gender stereotypes, consider myself a sort of feminist. But to be honest, like what kind of person isn't up for equal rights? I'm not going to get into that kind of debate now, but what kind of dickhead do you have to be to not just think that all people should be treated equally and fairly, regardless of who they are, where they come from, or kind of what they do? Let's just show respect in the new world, shall we? Because let's look where disrespect and discord gets us. Not very far. But I digress. Let's talk about the book, shall we? Steph Rohr has been a stitcher since 2010. She's been kind of working her needles with deliberate intent, and in the intro to her book she explains her story of how she got to where she is now, particularly being inspired by the 2016 election, which added a political tone to her already somewhat snarky form of stitching. But yeah, she definitely took a turn after the most recent elections, and I guess this is what has led her down this path now. She noticed as she was going that there are a lot of like-minded people, so felt that it was the right thing to do, and hey presto, a book was formed. As you would hope with all good cross-stitch books, there is an instruction section, and Steph goes into a good amount of detail here about what you can do. Side note and shameless plug, if you want a really detailed instruction book, consider getting the Mr. XStitch Guide to Cross Stitch, available from my website, XStitch Mag. Signed copies are available, where I go into almost ridiculous levels of detail on what you can do. However, lest you only want one book out of this review, Steph does go into a good amount of detail. You can tell she knows what she's talking about. She adds some nice personal touches and bits of wisdom in there as well. So yeah, good job, well done. Waste not techniques, parking your stitches, all of those things covered as you would hope. The book is then split into 4 themes around which the patterns are spread. Stitched affirmations, text-based phrases that you can put up as little reminders to keep doing what you're doing. Sassy and subversive, a section that contains its fair share of F-bombs but has got a nice attitude for those people who want to push against that kind of cutesy concept. Politically active is a section with patterns that have a slightly more overt political standpoint, and feminist iconography, which is just a good selection of the kind of iconic images you would expect from this kind of book. There are some decent patterns in there. Let's just dive a little bit deeper. It's interesting to note that this book's got a quote from Julie Jackson on the back of it, because there's no denying the influence that subversive cross stitch has had on this genre of stitching. And I've said it before, you know, there's a few other books who kind of take traditional sampler contrast of like text, flowery borders. That's been used a lot and subverted in a lot of ways. So obviously Julie Jackson was the first person to really push it with subversive cross stitch, but there have been other books that I've reviewed on this channel that have also taken that. And there's always a risk of taking the flowery border and F-bomb type combination and just rinsing it, you know, rinse, repeat, do the same thing over and over again without any real style development. So I was very mindful when I started looking at this book that we were running into that kind of territory, because there are indeed a fair share of flowery borders with text-based phrases in them. But what I do enjoy is the fact that Steph has taken some time to augment those ideas, shall we say. You know, they're not just plain cross-stitch flowers in some instances. She's taken, there's some lovely like Art Nouveau inspired ones. There's a pattern called Staunch, which has got a very flouncy approach to it and a really like nice border around it. And indeed some of her other flowery borders are more intricate, whether they've got more detailed patterns with shading and petals and those sorts of things, or there are just different combinations that are used in the borders that aren't just those traditional samples. Like, I think that's a very important point, and I will often criticize people who just imitate without really stretching their own creativity. Steph manages to take an existing genre that is the flowery, you know, traditional looking cross-stitch concept, and she has added her own flavour to it, and for that I respect her. Fans of broad feminist slogans will find plenty of content here for stitching purposes, whether it's the classic like "nevertheless she persisted," "smash the patriarchy," all the kind of phrases that you would hope would be in this book are found in there. A woman's place is in the revolution, and this book helps you stitch that for yourself. As I said before, the sassy and subversive section is a little bit on the rude side, so I'm not really going to share any of the patterns just on this YouTube channel, trying to keep it family friendly. But if you fancied a bit more, you know, controversy in the stitching that's going to go up in your hallway, there's plenty of examples in here that will do you quite nicely. In the feminist iconography section, there are some interesting designs. There's a couple of pride flags. There is the, as even Steph says, necessary cat cross-stitch pattern, so that's quite good. And there's one that I really like, which is Rosie the Riveter, who is a very powerful feminist icon. Steph does a really good job with this one. Like, it's a good size pattern that you can really sink your teeth into. Biggest pattern in the book, covers 4 pages of the book, the pattern itself. Plenty of colours and stuff like that, but if you really wanted a project to kind of hunker down in and spend a few months on, then she's got the one for you. Feminist Cross Stitch by Steph Rohr contains 40 designs that are very of the moment. They capture the political spirit, they do a good job of providing positive slogans and phrases for people to stitch kind of regardless of their gender. But it's a nice combination of the feminist ethos, the modern cross-stitch movement, and all bundled together in a nice book that will teach you how to stitch, give you plenty to going on, and often put a little smile on your face as well. To that extent, I'm giving Feminist Cross Stitch 7 out of 10. Thanks for sitting through to the end of my review. I do very much appreciate you being here. If you like what I have to say, please do add a like, or indeed comment below and let me know what you think. What's your favourite feminist phrase? What kind of themes would you want to see explored in future cross-stitch books? And if you've not subscribed to my channel already, please do subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out more book reviews and other interesting embroidery related videos as time passes, don't you worry, because I'm Mr. XStitch, I'm the kingpin of contemporary embroidery. It is my job to change the way the world thinks about needlecraft, and I'm here to serve you. So until the next time we meet, beloved YouTubers, happy stitching!